Welcome, dear viewers, to CouchWarrior TV on YouTube. I'm the CouchWarrior. You are who you are. Wonderful. As always. Thank you for attending. I do appreciate it. There's 20 of you out there. That makes me happy. Okay, so let's get settled in here. Our boy is most severely thirsty. We drink ale for that. All right. So, welcome everybody to the live stream. Obviously, this is a Monday live stream. So, this baby is open to the public. Now, normally, I do Tuesday live streams that are Patreon only, but I decided to do one Monday night, and if I can, I'm going to try to do one of these every other Monday night on the alternate nights from the podcast and 3Plays, and make them open to the public so we can bring in some new viewers, and there can be more people out there who can kind of see what it is that we're all working on. How we're getting together, having a good time. So that is the objective with that. Okay. All right. A little microphone adjustment here. Well, I imagine not everybody is going to know who Stacks is. So let's talk a little bit about Stacks. For those of you who are not familiar with Stacks, you can learn more about him by checking out the 5 Fables playlist on CouchWarrior TV. It is not a very long playlist. I didn't get very far into this story before I had to abandon it because it was too complicated from a production perspective. But one of several amazing things that came from this short-lived project were some of the really vivid and interesting characters that came out of it. Robbard was one of those, and Stacks was Robbard's right-hand man. They were friends, and they built a criminal empire together. And Stacks is a man who is obviously he's a very large and brutal character, but he also has an unexpected side in that he is quite good with negotiating. He's good with numbers. And Robbard figured that out pretty early on in the story and realized that partnering up with a man like Stacks was likely to net him some extra money, because this is a guy who can keep track of what's going on from a business perspective, which makes him kind of unique. So he looks like a brutal barbarian, and to some degree he is, but there's also kind of an unexpected and interesting side of him. So when we take a look at Stacks from a skills perspective, he is very much the warrior, okay? We've got heavy armor, block, two-handed, we've invested in some smithing, all those usual things. But there's also some investment in speechcraft. So if we look at Stacks, he's got some interesting things here having to do with kind of business-related stuff, which I think is kind of a unique character trait for him. And that was one of the things that came out in the 5 Fables story, is that when we get to know Stacks a little bit better, we begin to understand that he was somehow able to keep track of all of Robbard's business engagements in his head without ledgers. So when it comes to numbers, he knows what he's talking about, and to some degree, he has something of a photographic memory, which kind of made him an interesting character in my mind. But there were a lot of other things that made him interesting as well. So let's pack this stuff up, and then let's talk just briefly about what we're going to accomplish tonight. So, first of all, I want to just say welcome to everybody. We got a pretty good crowd in here tonight. That's really fun. Hopefully we'll draw some more in over throughout the stream. I don't know how long I'm going to stream tonight. I've got some specific goals in mind that I would like to hit with Stacks this evening. But before we do that, let's kind of go over some housekeeping stuff. As I said, he's pretty much a standard warrior. If you take a look at the Five Fables playlist, we have a couple of flashbacks that take place in that story, and we get to see Stacks as a young man and as an older man. I would say in his current form right here, as we see him, he's in between. He's kind of in that in-between age. When he was a young man, he's a ginger, and now he's graying. But he's still big, and he's formidable, and he's vicious. And he's a man of few words. But one of the things I think that describes him best is that he's a true warrior. And by that, what I mean is he is a man with military experience who fought in the Great War, and he came back with not too many skills to speak of, except skills with an axe and being good with numbers. That led him into a life of banditry and crime, where he became something of a small-time bandit leader until he meets Robbard. Now, he and Robbard are trying to build a criminal empire based around the idea of smuggling skooma. And one of the things that I think is interesting about Stacks is his philosophy is, you basically you're fighting to be alpha, right? And if you're not alpha, step aside because the big dog's going to eat. And he considers himself to be the big dog. Okay? That's what he thinks. He's filled with confidence, and I think one of the things that I like about his outlook is he's predatory, but the people he preys on are other criminal gangs. He likes to prey on other criminal gangs who have loot and who have territory that he can take away, he can take over, and so he's predatory when it comes to other bandits, and that is a good segue into kind of what the theme of this evening's adventure is all about. He and Robbard are building their criminal empire, and Robbard is down south somewhere. We don't know exactly where Robbard is right now, but we're going to hear from him later. Stacks is up north. He's covering the northern territories. And essentially what they're doing now is Robbard is working on setting up their distillation and distribution networks, and Stacks is basically out trying to figure out who is going to oppose them and who's going to be with them. And his objective is either to intimidate those he can, intimidate those he can and eliminate those he can't, and eliminate those he thinks might be a risk. So he is, right now, he's on what I would consider to be a pretty brutal mission. But it's necessary. So what I really like about this is we're going to talk about this a little bit later is I'm going to take a unique approach to kind of tying things together in Skyrim tonight. One of the things we talk about on the podcast a lot is how we can create sort of a larger theme or overarching story that can help to tie together all the disparate things that are going on in Skyrim all the time. And we're going to be doing some of that tonight, and we're going to be doing it with mods, and we're also going to be doing it in the most key way, I think, with a very small and easy-to-create custom mod that I created myself. And we're going to see that later. So right now, we're cruising along the northern coast here. And Stacks has come up here to deal with a very specific situation. They had a shipment of skooma that they were trying to get out of the province that was lost on the coast. It was being smuggled inside a ship called the Brine Hammer, along with a lot of other cargo. And Stacks is on a mission right now to try and figure out what happened to the product. But in addition to that, he's also, as I said earlier, kind of covering this northern territory to figure out what the hell is going on with the bandit groups up here, because there's all kinds of different little pods of bandits that are working out of different areas here. And in my world, those bandits are kind of divided into clans who are all fighting for control. So Stacks and Robbard, their aim is to identify which of those clans are going to be enemies and which ones are going to fall in line. And so this is the beginning of what I referred to in my story as the East Empire War. And it was kind of a war of underworld organizations fighting for control of Skooma trade in Skyrim. And that became kind of the basis for my larger story that I kind of plugged all the quests and side quests into. So we're going to kind of work on that. I thought that would be sort of fun. And I've got a little mod that I've made to help me do this that I'm going to continue to expand in the future. And we'll be able to have more live stream sessions where we pursue this same goal. So that should be pretty cool. There are also a couple of customizations to the character himself and his gear. I will talk about those mods in a moment.
Or something in the old fort near Riften. Might consider joining up myself.
Welcome. Let me know if you want. Think I got a clean mug around here somewhere. Need a room? Don't worry. Nightmares don't seem to happen for travelers. Let's sate that appetite, huh?
I don't need a room, I just need an ale. Look at all this garbage. I'll take this venison chop.
Of course.
Water.
Until next time.
Yar. All right, let's get a little bite to eat here. Big slab of meat. Big slab of meat for breakfast. And an ale. That seems appropriate. All right. So let's talk just briefly about the character. His face has probably been modified a little bit more heavily than I do with a lot of the other characters. A lot of work done on the nose to push it in, make it look like it's been broken a few hundred times. This is a guy, obviously, I mean, he's been through the war and he's come back to Skyrim and he's a hard-bitten fellow. But the other thing, too, is the armor that he's wearing is from the Immersive Armors mod, and then it has been customized. I customized the mesh and removed some of the tchotchkes that would normally be on this set of armor. I got rid of a few things that I just felt weren't in keeping with the character. It simplified the look a little bit, cleaned things up a little bit, but I just couldn't see Stacks having all that extra stuff kind of hanging off of it. So I removed that. The weapon that he's using is this huge double-bladed Viking-style axe. Gigantic, but I think it looks exactly like the sort of implement that he would use. When we were first introduced to this character, I think we saw him pretty early on actually fight a bunch of bandits with nothing but a shovel, which was a lot of fun to do. So I think, you know, his look definitely in his weapon is in keeping with who he is. Snowberries on the coast. Mr. Stacks, I hope this day finds you with a drink in your hand and a fine woman on your arm. I know you have your hands full at the moment, but I have some information that I believe we must act upon with all haste, and it relates directly to your present investigation of our missing shipment on the brine hammer. It would seem that a rather well-organized clan of snowberries has been working all along the northern coast, disrupting shipments of all kinds. Normally, I would say good for you, but, as you know, this has a direct impact on our ability to get our product out of the province. They are divided into two groups, with one working out of Solitude and the other out of Windhelm. They have been putting out lighthouses all along the coast and then looting ships as they run aground, and I am inclined to put a stop to it. I am still looking into the connections in Windhelm, but I have traced the Solitude crew back to a dipshit going by Jari Ra. When you have completed your work at the Brinehammer, go and have a look at this snowberry. Let's see what he is up to and where it leads. If we do this right, maybe we can turn the two crews against each other, save ourselves some trouble. When you are ready to report back, leave a letter in the drop box at the Winking Skeever. I got that pink-haired kid running messages for me now. He's fast as hell. The truest friend you never had, Robbard. All right, got our marching orders.
And what might you need?
Nothing. Nothing from you, elf. Brinehammer.
They say that vampires attacked the Hall of the Vigilant.
Yeah,
Burned
whatever.
it to the ground. Never heard of vampires doing anything like that before.
Right. Gonna happen to a nicer bunch of fellas. Okay, let's get him kitted out. Cold weather, so we're gonna use a little face cover to keep the wind chill off. Off we go. Now, Stacks, by comparison, is probably the largest character I have, just in terms of sheer size. He's a big fella, and his horse is large as well to accommodate him. Probably akin to a plow horse, more than likely. So we're going to go and investigate this boat. Start out with that. And then Robbard's given us a job to do, so we're going to do that next. Troll. Come on, let's do this right. Stay here, beast. Ooh. Yeah, I got you now. Oh, that stung a little bit. We good? Yeah, come on. So, anyway, up the coast we go. Now, he does have some levels in smithing. He smiths things up as high as he can. There's probably more deadly axes he could use just in terms of total damage. But again, this is one of those instances where I'm sacrificing power for roleplay, I guess. Because it's hard to imagine an axe fitting him better in terms of image than this one. So we're going to go with that. Yes, he is bigger than Sagramore. Loot. I'll take that. Scimitar. Ah. Still some in there. I ain't drinking that. All right. Let's store this crap. We can, right? We can. So we'll put this stuff. We'll get rid of some things here. There's his shovel. He's got a shovel, people. Worst comes to worst, we can pull the shovel out and use that as a weapon. All right. Pickaxe. Lighten the load a little bit. I feel like he wouldn't carry a lot of this stuff on his person if he's got his horse with him, so... I am using convenient horses. Really? Convenient horses does not do anything to enhance the size of the horse. I'm doing that on my own with console commands, but it will enhance the speed and strength of the horse over time. I've just got to train the horse. So you can see I'm training the horse right now. It's 28% along the path to its next level. And whenever it gains a level, I have the ability to assign those level points to the horse's speed, strength, or stamina. All right. There's our ship. We might actually get there. So what I'm doing here, obviously, is I'm just creating little letter and book and journal mods that help me kind of tie things together. And those of you who follow my channel know that what I'm doing is I've got a stable of characters that all kind of fit together in the same world and their stories overlap a little bit. And I make them overlap in various ways. Sometimes I can make them overlap by creating character NPC followers. But sometimes I can do more subtle things like just having letters and stuff like that that do it for me. So that is what we're doing here. And the characters that kind of fit in this universe are all live stream only characters. So I'm not typically playing out adventures with these that are kind of produced. My goal is to kind of use this stable of characters as a way to do some interesting things in live streams. So when we do our Patreon-only live streams, we're streaming these characters from this universe that I'm kind of working on, and their stories are... The plan is to have their stories kind of overlap and stuff like that. And those characters include Robbard and Stacks, and Marl, and Shadeling, and Vander. We may be adding some more in the near future. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. And I plan on just doing these live streams where I come up with ways to cross over the stories and put it together using mods of my own creation and things I find on Nexus or whatever. Come on, crab. All right. So one of the things that I think is interesting about Skyrim is how we have all these different groups of bandits, and there seems to be no real connection between any of them. And so what I was striving to do with this storyline in Five Fables was find an interesting way to sort of tie them all together and make them part of a common thread in the story. And so, in effect, we're kind of seeing that here, where, for the purposes of my story, I'm saying that some of these groups will be related to one another, and others will not. But obviously, what Robbard and Stacks care about is whether or not these groups of bandits are going to toe the line or not. Some of them will, and some of them won't, I'm sure. All right. A lot of books. So Stacks is pretty much a godless man. You know, like I said, I describe him as sort of a predator who preys on other bandits. So, you know, he's in a lot of ways, he's kind of the worst of the worst, you know. That's what I like about him, though. That's what I like about him and Robbard specifically, is that they're sort of anti-heroes, you know. And by making a character bad, that gives me some interesting things I can do later on, you know, to potentially have a change of heart, or to take a different path, or to get worse. They could get worse. Definitely. Especially in a game like this, where you're presented with all these opportunities to kind of do the right thing, but you have a lot of opportunities as well to screw it up, you know, to go down a dark path as well. And I sort of like the adventure associated with figuring out what these characters are going to do. It's a little bit less obvious, I think, than a lot of other characters. I mean, we can be fairly sure that Marl is pretty much, he's going to do the right thing. It may take him a while to figure out what that is, because he's a little bit clueless in some ways. But generally speaking, we can be pretty sure that in the end, Marl is going to choose the right path, or the path of altruism or goodness. We can't be so sure about these guys. We've seen a lot of interesting things. We've seen Stacks do some nice things. We've seen him protect people in the story. But we've also seen the characters do some pretty despicable things, like, you know, manufacturing and distributing skooma to people. I mean, that's pretty bad. Pretty despicable thing to do. But I don't think it stops there. All right. Now, one of the things that we're doing here is we are looking for skooma, right? Because presumably we had a shipment hidden on this boat amongst the cargo. Stacks is going to be trying to find it, but he's also going to be trying to figure out kind of what happened here. The suspicion is foul play, that the ship ran aground because somebody screwed with the lighthouse. And there isn't any cargo left here. There's hardly any cargo left at all. So right now, Stacks is coming to the conclusion that somebody ran the ship aground or caused it to run aground and then raided the ship and took what was on here. Took what was essentially his property. So that's going to piss him off. All right, we're done in here. Plus that wonky angled floor, boy, that screws with my head a little bit. So let's get out of here. Stacks is done. Okay. This is where we came in, right? Yeah. All right. All right. Skooma's gone. Ship's gone. Crab's gone. Well, it's time to start tracking down who the hell's responsible for taking our product. The only lead that we have at this point comes from a message that we got from Robbard, so I guess we're going to follow that lead. But that takes us to Solitude, so we got a ways to go here. So, the universe, this universe is kind of interesting. What I'm doing is I'm pulling together characters from different stories that weren't originally meant to go together, but they're such colorful and interesting characters that I felt like it might be kind of fun to try. So, this universe is based on ashes. It's a mixture of ashes and 5 fables. So what I'm doing is I'm taking Marl and Mr. Whack and all the theories around the Lorcan particles, and I created a world with them, and then I folded in some aspects of the 5 fables story. So I've brought over Stacks and Robbard and their kind of underworld criminal empire story. And those are going to be kind of melded together, I guess, if you will. Now, there may be other characters from the 5 Fables concept that might come into this as well. I haven't decided yet. But it's definitely a possibility. I think that would be fun to do. Because I think there's more that concept has to offer. Plus, I really love the idea, the juxtaposition of really bad kind of foul characters like Robbard and Stacks being exposed to characters like Marl and Vander. So, for those of you who watched any of Rune Runner, of course, you know that Robbard got folded into the Rune Runner story. So I already had some crossover going here, and I thought, maybe the thing to do is just bring them all into the same world and create one sort of overarching story idea, and that way whenever we do a Let's Play, I could just play any one that I wanted to, and everybody would be familiar with the characters and some of the concepts we were dealing with, and that might be kind of fun. So that's the objective there. Rather than trying to keep track of a whole bunch of different storylines, I'm just kind of creating one world with some of these open concepts in it, and then we're just going to work with those. We're going to play with them and see what characters fit in and which ones we want to play and which ones we don't. Sometimes I'll be also taking votes on the channel about, what characters people want to see played on a given night. That's part of what we do in the Patreon live streams. Sometimes is I'll put a vote out somewhere. I used to do it on Twitter, but not everybody's on Twitter. So now I've got an opportunity with the community tab on my channel homepage on YouTube. I can do some really nice polls right there, and we can get people's opinions on what they'd like to see. So we'll probably be doing some more of that. And then every once in a while, I'll probably just take over and I'll say, tonight we're playing this character because I really want to advance an idea or a concept in the story or something like that. And those nights I'll just take over and I'll kind of...
By the order of the Jarl.
What?
Stop right there.
What? Jail. For what? Screw you.
Emperor's wrath.
Yeah. Suck it. Well, I better get out of here. So, we're going to bolt. Zigzag. Okay, what's happening here is Stacks got himself in kind of a lot of trouble in Solitude. So this is going to be a tough sell. I don't know that we're going to get into Solitude to accomplish what we need to without there being some confrontation with the law. So eventually we're probably going to have to suck it up and go and do our time. Maybe Robbard could pay our bail, huh? All right, we're going to let those spiders be, or whatever they are. They might discourage people from following us. Hey, ugly. Pot calling the kettle black. Okay. All right, y'all. I guess we could make this a question for the group. Our choices here are limited. I mean, obviously we can't accomplish what I was planning to accomplish tonight if we go in and just fight everybody. So we can't do that. So I'm feeling like we probably don't have a lot of choice in the matter. Robbard has given us a direct order. Stacks does defer to Robbard, as if Robbard were his boss. But he also knows that that is a city where they're not exactly happy to see him. So he doesn't have much choice. He's going to go anyway. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to hope we can maybe buy our way out of trouble. We'll see. We may have screwed the pooch by flipping him the bird in Morthal, though. So we'll have to see what happens. All right, let's do this. I got an idea. Dee. Okay, so you can see I've invested pretty heavily in health. So now what I'm doing is I'm alternating. How about this? Can bribe guards to ignore crimes? Should we do that? What do you think? I mean, we have said that he's kind of he kind of knows his way around this kind of thing, right? Is that cheating? I don't think so. Bribery. Let's see what happens. I don't know. He may have pissed him off bad enough at this point that bribery isn't going to work. I don't know. We'll see what happens. It should be kind of fun to see. If there's going to be a problem, there'll be a problem here. All right. Hey. You want an apple? Great. go on foot. Yeah, follow me. Come on. All right. Let's see what happens. Something's going to happen. It's going to happen by this building in particular, you would think. Hey, look at this. Here's a guard kind of walking by himself. If things go bad, we could just chop his head off and throw him into the river. Hey, what's going on?
Best offense is a good defense, am I right?
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Huh. All right. That's promising. Come on, horse. Huh. Now, Dragon Bridge should be beholden to these guys, right? So you would think if I was going to get a hassle, I'd get it here too, right? All right. That went good. Come on, horse. Come on, let's go, you big fat turd. Look out, idiot. Okay. So one of the interesting things about Nords, I'm using the mod Imperious Races. And we see this as well with Robbard, is that as you go up levels, you get some bonuses when you're in combat with certain races. You get to pick the races as you go up, and that happens every 10 levels for the first 30 levels, so you get to basically pick 3 different races that you have bonuses when you're fighting against. Given he was in the Great War, I picked the Imperials, and I picked the High Elves. Makes sense, I think. Now, I don't know what that third one's going to be when we hit 30. I have to think about that. Good night, Detso. All right. Huh. Nobody's giving us a hassle. Let's just ride right up to the door.
Come to Solitude to join the Legion. Speak to Ricker.
Fat chance. All right. Well, so far so good, horse. Just do your thing. Be right back. Nice. I don't know. We might survive this yet. I don't know. Okay. Oh, hey. Just in time. What's going on? Is it a show? Well, it ain't worth going to an execution unless you get a little on ya. Right up the front row. Yeah, who is this guy? What's going on? What'd he do?
Get on with it!
Gate guard, you were.
Gate guard? What'd he do? What could a gate guard
Traitor.
possibly screw up? Traitor? Come on, are we gonna do this or what? You want me to get up there? Fine. I have better things to do.
Traitor. You should tell her that her uncle is scum that betrayed his high king.
Get on with it!
Betrayed his high king. Wait a minute.
Rogver, you helped Ulfric Stormcloak escape the city after he murdered
Oh, really?
Ulfric. By opening that gate for Ulfric, you betrayed the people of Solitude. He doesn't deserve to speak! There was no murder.
Let him speak.
Challenge story.
He beat the High King in fair combat.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Such is our way. Such is the ancient custom of Skyrim and all Nords. Boo!
Hey, good luck to you. You'll probably go to Sovngarde.
On this
I
day,
probably won't see you there.
I go to Sovngarde.
Right. Hey. Not bad. Congratulations. Well, that's that. Off to the big show he goes. Now what? I gotta find this Jari Ra. That sounds Argonian, doesn't it? Great.
Good riddance to bad rubbish.
Come on in. Let me know if you need anything, or take a seat by the fire and I'll send someone over.
Oh, hey, wait a second.
I
Hey.
have no business with you. Leave me.
You know who Jari Ra
Go
is?
away. I have more important things on my mind right now.
Yeah. Better watch it, lizard. Split your skull.
I don't like strangers.
You know what I don't like? Lizards. Hey,
If
you know who
needed a
Jari
boat,
Ra is?
Welcome to the Winking Skeever, friend.
What do you know?
I think I expected more.
Helgen, whatever. What else? What else do you got? Rumors. Tell me about
I
rumors.
think the Bard's College might be looking for recruits. You should speak to the head of the college,
come on.
Viarmo, if you're interested.
Yeah, I know a guy who went there. What else?
Have you seen that shrine of Azura? They say that dark elves built it after they fled from Morrowind.
Yeah.
Sight to see.
I don't know why they came here and built it. What
I've
else?
heard Jari Ra's hanging around the Well district, looking for new blood to hire.
The Well District. Yeah,
Remember the Winking Skeever next time you're footsore.
right. No problem, pencil neck. Look out.
Fletching suits me. It's difficult.
Well
sometimes
District.
too. Yes?
Actually, Stacks is a bard. Interestingly enough, which is something that I was going to bring up a little bit later. But he knows how to play the flute. And he was taught music by Robbard.
A coin or
So
two for a veteran?
he's not good at it.
Not much to
He's not like Robbard. He's not good at it, but he knows how to whistle out a tune on a flute.
Think that you're missing out on some wonderful opportunities working in that bar.
Look at this. Hey,
You look new. I'm new too. I think we could be friends.
I'm anything but new. Look at my face. I've been around a while. You Jari Ra.
Passing through solitude? Maybe you're looking to make some easy gold, yes?
Yeah, I'm always looking for easy gold. What do you got in mind?
It's easy to find things to sell. Things nobody will miss. Things from underground, or just left lying around in someone's house. I bet the two of us were very alike. So why not take the next step? We can help each other. My sister Deja and I are treasure hunters. We like to collect things.
All right. Ears are open.
I knew you looked like a clever one. With the war,
That's a lie.
many more ships come through these docks, loaded with weapons and pay, but few people, and they pass through dangerous waters. We have an interest in one of those boats, the Ice Runner. The Solitude Lighthouse will be guiding it in, but if its fire were to go out, the Ice Runner would run aground.
Yeah. All my alarm bells are going off now. So, you want me to put out the lighthouse fire, is that it?
What an interesting idea.
Oh,
I
come
think
on.
if
Don't play
someone were
coy.
to do something like that, there would definitely be a certain amount of loot to be shared. Yes, if someone were to put out the lighthouse fire and then meet me on the docks afterwards, I could certainly direct them to that loot.
right. So, what about the sailors?
Don't worry about them. We'll make sure they wash up safe. Maybe they'll even pay us for their heroic rescue from their sad crash.
Right.
It would be best if we spoke little until we've completed your task.
Jeez. Listen, asshole, I know what I'm doing. It's not like you've popped my criminal cherry or anything. All right. Well, reckon since I'm here, I may as well get some sleep. Are you kidding me? I smell like a yak.
Fletching suits me. It's difficult and sometimes tedious.
Yeah,
But
go
a
do more of
well-made
it.
house.
Welcome. Let me know if you want anything. Think I got a clean mug around here somewhere.
Clean mug. Sounds disgusting.
I may look the part of dashing swordsman, but I prefer the art of wit to that of warfare.
Good God.
If you need a good rumor, welcome to the Winking Skeever, friend.
Yeah, thanks for the tip. What the hell? Are you kidding? I was sitting there, douche.
Remember the Winking Skeever next time you're footsore. I've only been a part of the Red Wave's crew for a few weeks. Traitors, civil wars, dragons. Huh.
I need a room.
It's
Shut
yours
up.
for a day.
All right. What do you got?
Take a look.
Drinks. That's what I care about. Drinks. Those. Nordmead. I like the off-brand shit. Thanks.
I'll show you to your room. Right this way.
I once captained a ship called the Argent Raptor. She struck an iceberg and went down just north of Windhelm.
Feel free to make requests.
I got a request.
Yes?
Never
My
mind.
shipmates scoff at my love of finery, but I know envy when I hear it.
All right, we get a little sleep. We head out tomorrow. We get this thing done. Right? No, that's not what we do. We get a little bit of sleep and we go out in the middle of the night. Right?
Wish only to graduate and enroll with the Legion. My drums will lead our troops to victory.
Right. This dandy boy.
Yes?
Nothing. All right, what time is it? Oh, it's late. Get a couple hours, and then we got to get going. All right, couple hours of sleep. Then in the middle of the night, we got to go and we got to shut down that lighthouse. We're going to do the deed. Hey. I don't see those every day. All right, off we go.
I'm waiting.
Oh, hello.
You can wait forever as far as I'm concerned.
Hi there. I'm a little busy at the moment. I've got all sorts
God.
of errands to run.
Jeez.
I once captained a ship called the Argent Raptor. She struck an
Hey.
iceberg and went down just north.
Need
of
something?
Like an adventurous
Go, you
life.
assholes.
Yourself in my city, friend. You
Is
stay
there
out of trouble.
something I can do?
Hey, Jessa, welcome.
Break even the strongest will.
Nice
Bemo's not so
axe.
bad.
Ass hat.
Keeps me fed. And my working
Need a
days
longer
are-
haft, maybe? Good God. Seems useless. Okay. Hey, you're still here.
The road to Whiterun's not safe these days. Lots of travelers just disappear.
Yeah.
South of Dragon Bridge. Can't find a trace of them.
Really? Thanks for the tip.
Best defense is a good defense. Am I right?
That is the dumbest statement anyone has ever said. Of course it's good. The best defense is a good defense? Is that what he said? No. He meant offense, right? Maybe I misheard. I got my bell rung a few times, so who knows? Call lady. All right, so we are going to head over to the lighthouse, not the White House. Actually, Stacks in the White House. That could be interesting. Think of all he could get done. Having our horse will make the trip a little bit faster. Now, you guys, if you're familiar with Skyrim, you know where I'm going with this. You know the things I'm kind of chaining together here. And what that generally means is kind of a lot of back and forth. And it's a lot of back and forth around this stinking bay right here, which kind of makes it a little bit longer trip. So having a horse is a good deal, I think, for us. All right. All right. I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you. Ooh. Horse went up a level. Let's have a look. Oh, rest and meditate. That's for the birds. We're busy. Okay. What's this? That looks like a plum target, doesn't it? All right, let's get up here. All right, well... sneak on up here. Now, Stacks doesn't know if anybody's in the lighthouse right now, so whatever he does, he's got to do it on the QT, so to speak. All right. That's as bright as I can make it, ladies and gentlemen. So, hopefully, that's good enough. How dark it is depends a lot on your screen, too. If I'm looking on my standard monitor, it's, I can see just fine. But if I look at it on my Mac, for example, or on my iPhone, sometimes it's a bit too dark. All right. Come on, beast. Let's have a look. All right, return to Jari Ra. All right, so what we know is we definitely know that Jari Ra, if he's not the ringleader, he's at least part of the group here. He's associated with the group here in the Solitude area that has been dousing lighthouses and raiding ships. And our main concern here is that... You know, we don't necessarily care about the shipping companies, their financial welfare and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's up to them to protect their ships. But we do start to care about it if they're losing their cargo frequently enough that it's affecting our ability to smuggle skooma out of Skyrim. That is a problem. So, the best solution is to eliminate the problem and then to take over their business. I mean, if Stacks is looking at this as a business person, he's thinking to himself, why needlessly destroy ships, kill sailors, and sink cargo, risk sinking cargo, when you could do things a slightly different way and kind of extort protection money from shipping companies instead? He's always thinking about what's the sustainable business, right? And to him, that seems like the better way to go. Get him to pay, but get him to pay over and over and over again. That's the way to do it. So, hey.
Looks like you had no trouble.
No.
The effects have already been felt. The Ice Runner has failed to dock on time. Without the lighthouse, the Ice Runner will have swung wide of the western shoal and run aground on the eastern coast. My sister Dija will be at the wreck with our Black Blood marauders. She knows to expect you.
All right. Your sister, huh?
Get moving. I'll see if I can't delay any patrols out there.
Yeah, right. All right. We got a ways to go, horse. Thirsty. Dying of thirst. Water. I didn't even cook that. That'll do. So one of the cool things about convenient horses then is the training thing, but my thought is that with Stacks, he's probably not looking for a war horse. He's looking for a horse that can get him to all these different places he needs to go in Skyrim and do it reliably. So I'm thinking that he's probably going to invest in his horse's stamina, whereas Sagramore would probably invest it in his horse's strength because he really needs that horse to do damage in combat. So, as we've seen already, I think Stacks is more inclined to get off his horse and fight people that way, rather than spending a lot of time fighting from horseback. So, I think that's probably how we'll invest here. That was also how I plan on investing with Marl's horse Folly, as well as probably primarily in stamina, because that horse is a cart-pulling horse primarily. But I think we'll see some adventures coming up where he'll ride Folly as well, which should be kind of interesting. I don't think of Marl typically as an equestrian type of guy, but coming from, you know, a background of Dunmer aristocracy, you would think he would probably know a thing or two about how to ride a horse. All right, let's mix it up a little bit and kind of go overland here. Go this way. All right, so this path is always one that is kind of hard to figure out. Got to make some water crossings here. We're going to try to be smart about it if we can. Try and find the shallow spots. There we go. Okay. Ah, crabs. Get on up there. Come on. There we go. Aye. All right, we're a goodly portion of the way there. Let's check and see what time it is. Okay, it's going to be dawn before we know it here. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to make a cold campsite here, and then we're going to approach when we've got a little bit of daylight. I don't think it would be advisable to do that in the dark, especially if we have to fight anybody. We're going to be outnumbered, so let us gather up our tent. We'll catch a couple of winks. We'll just keep it nice and quiet. 4 hours. 4 hours is good. Okay. Before we head out, let's have a look here. There's Stacks' armor. This is the dark... I don't know how to pronounce it, so I'm going to slaughter it. It looks like Einherjar, but I don't think it's... I think it's pronounced some other way that I don't know and don't ever probably will know. So... I have customized this by removing items that I did not want using Nifscope. So it has a big, by default, it has a big old dragon skull on the side. It's got a bunch of, it's got a troll skull. It's got a bunch of bones that hang off it. I've taken all of that crap off and streamlined it quite a bit just because I didn't think it fit at all with the character's image. And then, of course, he's not going to have a dragon skull as a pauldron on his armor. First of all, that's not who he is, and that is not what's going on in our story or in this world in which he lives. He is not fighting dragons. He's not the Dragonborn. So that is that. So it is that armor comes from the Immersive Armors mod, and then I have modified it significantly. Now I have not modified the texture, only the mesh. All right. Now, what I'm going to do, fail safe, we're going to do a quick save here, then continue on our way. There's something interesting to me about the idea of the concept of a criminal like Stacks. He's always kind of looking for the next opportunity, but I think of him as a pretty versatile criminal. He's not just a thug. He's a smart guy, and he's opportunistic. He's looking for what he considers to be business opportunities. Business in air quotes. But to him, the perfect criminal enterprise is one that you can repeat, and repeat safely. Get up there. No. Through the ice. That way. So he's an opportunist. So I think that he's certainly not the con man that Robbard is. He's got a head for business, and he's got some pretty amazing abilities when it just comes to battlefield tactics and a big old axe that he's pretty good with. He's also got friends. He's got friends who are veterans from the war that were part of his unit, and they still hang out together. And so I think what we're going to see over the course of time is Stacks' old war veteran buddies are going to end up forming the core of the group that eventually we will begin to refer to as the Black Barrel Boys when we get into some real smuggling activity. It will be, I think, that group of grizzled war veterans that become kind of the core of that smuggling team. And those are people, are personnel that come from Stacks' background. Robbard doesn't really have any connections in Skyrim besides his mother, and they're not on good terms. So somehow he rescued Stacks, and Stacks respected that, and now he's got Stacks as a fast friend, and along with Stacks comes all of Stacks' connections. So Stacks is much more well connected in Skyrim than Robbard is, at least currently. That's how things are kind of playing out in the story, in my head anyway, and I'll be attempting to communicate that throughout here in different ways. I just love this idea that, you know, we can kind of subtly have these things cross over. All right, are these guys going to be hostile, or is this a real thing? Well, maybe we're good. Hey.
Hi.
Looking for Jari Ra's sister. Seen her around?
Need something?
I don't see any sailors.
You're the one who put out the fire in the lighthouse, right?
Yeah, that was me.
That was good work. Deja's in the hold of the ship. Go down 2 levels.
All right. How many they got here? We better do a quick count. Got a couple on deck, couple on shore. Oh man, these odds are getting worse all the time. All right. Deja. There's another one. He looks like a mage, doesn't he? Yeah. Ah, shit. Oh, shit, there's another one. Let me really be putting my foot in it now. Huh. They butchered those sailors. Oh, yeah. Hey, how's it going? Hey, you seen Deja? Oh boy. This must be her. Let's do ourselves a favor. Hey.
My brother told me you were coming. I'm supposed to give you what you've earned.
Is that right? So, we're splitting the loot then, right?
Ha! I'm afraid the loot's already been moved. You've been useful to the Black Bloods, though. You've earned a quick death.
Really?
Come here.
All right, hold that door. Damn it. I can't barricade it. Shit. Is it all gone? Yeah, it really is. Hey, cool helmet. Take that. What do you got? Note from Jari Ra. Hey, venison chop. They really did move it out of here.
I'll carve you into pieces.
Just come on in here, bastard. Shit. I gotta get out of here. If I wait too much longer, they're gonna have me blocked in. Yeah. All right. Got one in the backpack. I've had worse. Shit, where did they put it all? It's got to be up top, right?
Okay. Is someone there?
Come on. I gotta keep one of these bastards alive if I'm gonna find the loot. It could be anywhere. Guy was sitting there, he's gone now. Oh, that could be useful. Anything else? Come on, Stacks. Use your brain. Black Bloods. Where would they call home? Oh, surprise. Oh, I recognize that noise. Oh, shit. Oh. Ugh. Beat down. Ooh, I took a few licks there. Okay, I think I'm clear. I better barricade myself in here, too. Anything I can use? What? Hey, I can use gold, right? I don't need bowls. Shit. Yep, you don't send a mage to an axe fight. Man, they've stripped this place completely. All right, here we go. All right, 1, 2, 3. Go around this way. Keep them guessing a little bit. Oh yeah, Archer. They gonna come up on the deck and fight me or not? I wouldn't. Maybe they're smarter than they look. Let's get off around this way. So they think I'm gonna make a run for it. But I ain't making a run for it. I'm running at it. Ugh. Good night. Ah, shit. There were supposed to be 4 up here. Oh, and they took all this loot. Black Bloods. How am I going to track them? Let's read this letter. Note from Jari Ra. Sister, once you have picked up the packages, send them on to me at Broken Ore Grotto. The fool who did our work at the lighthouse should arrive shortly. Thereafter, make sure he is taken care of. Huh. Yeah, makes sense. That's what I would have done. Broken Ore Grotto. Where would that be? I think I know. You don't work in the smuggling business and not know where all the little hidden coves are. That's right. Hey, nice job. Let's go. Broken Ore Grotto it is. Now, with regard to the companions... I think Stacks would have mixed feelings about the companions. There's definitely something about their lifestyle that would appeal to his warrior sensibilities. That is for sure. That is absolutely sure. I mean, he's a warrior. But I think that he would also... He could never... I think what he would say is that he could never associate himself with the companions just because they don't necessarily share... a common belief system. Ah, my game crashed. Fire it up again. They don't share a common belief system. In other words, what Stacks believes in is money. He believes in money. He wants to make money. More importantly, he wants to control money because he sees power in controlling commerce and in controlling money. So he is a person who, as unsavory as they might be, he has objectives. He has goals in life, and one of those things is that he wants to possess power, and he sees a route to power through money. And I wouldn't even describe it. I wouldn't describe it as greed. Let's see where this dumps us out here. This is going to dump us out outside the ship again, isn't it? Yeah, so we've got a ways to go here. Let's jump in here. But this gives me an opportunity to kind of explain where I'm coming from with this. When I think of Stacks, I think of a guy who has, in some ways, I suppose, a pretty simple outlook on life. He's interested in controlling his destiny. He wants to control his own destiny, and he sees that the way that he's going to control his own destiny is not through acquiring personal wealth. In other words, not acquiring wealth for the sake of wealth, but acquiring money and control. I think is what he would be looking for. So the possession of money for the purposes of controlling others and controlling politics and in controlling his environment and things like that. As an individual, I think his individual interests are pretty simple. I think he probably gets some kind of rush of adrenaline or sense of satisfaction out of separating people from their money. But, you know, he's obviously somebody who is a career criminal, probably started out as a thug, but now he sort of views life as something that is more of a challenge to him to try and find a way to game the system, to go after bigger fish, to not be satisfied with just attacking a caravan or robbing a house or something like that. That's not his style anymore. His style is bigger scores, more control, that kind of thing. So that's what he's going to be looking for. He's going to be looking for the bigger scores now. And that is part of the reason that he likes Robbard, is because Robbard has a vision. Robbard has a vision of controlling the Skooma trade in Skyrim. And Stacks is a smart enough guy to see the potential in that vision, whereas other people might look at that plan and say, whatever. Stacks sees the potential in Robbard's plan, and so he's basically signed on. He's full steam ahead on this plan. So when he's thinking about the companions, he's thinking the companions are not for him because they don't value those things. They don't value the same things he does. But he looks at the companions and he probably admires a few things about their lifestyle. More than likely, I think what Stacks would like...
Stop right
there. You again. Oh, yeah. You're not associated with Solitude, are you? You bow to a different Jarl, is that it? Yeah, go fuck yourself. Yeah, whatever. There we go again, right through town. So I think he looks at the companions and says, yeah, I can respect the fact that they're warriors and stuff like that, but I'd never want to join them. I would certainly like to fight a few of them and see if I'm good enough to beat them, but I wouldn't want to join them because they don't share the same belief system, you know? So he's out to make money. He's out to do this thing, right? This acquisition of power. So that's what he's all about. It is an interesting discussion, though, an interesting thing to consider. If he were to join the companions, I think it would be a god-awful mess. I think he would probably create a mess of the outfit, and if he were, by some crazy stroke of circumstance, to become the Harbinger, I think it would probably have the effect of destroying that organization. Because he would probably make decisions that were not good for their public image and all kinds of things like that would be my guess. So I'm going to quick save here. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we're going to do. We're going to take a short break, 5 minutes, okay? 5 minutes, I will be back, and we will continue this adventure, okay? So hang in there. We are back. Well, I'm back. All right. So just in terms of where this is kind of in the relative timeline, I think of where we're at right now is probably somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe 5 or 6 years after Robbard and Stacks first met. So for those of you who have seen some of the Five Fables stuff, that's kind of where I think of it right now. So something along that timeline, I guess. All right. So, before we continue, I would just like to mention that for those of you who are Patreon supporters, a big thank you to you. I very much appreciate your support of this channel. In light of the things going on YouTube, it is very, very helpful for me to have your support in the Patreon campaign. For those of you who have supported me in other ways, by giving of your time, buying things from the shop, I've even had a few people buy a couple things for me on the Steam wish list. I very much appreciate that as well. And I want to thank you very much for that. If you haven't done that already, I wanted to give you a quick pitch for why it might be an interesting idea to do. That is because we do Patreon-only live streams, and we do it every week. And you can participate in those live streams for as little as $1 a month, which is pretty darn cheap. If you contribute $5 a month, you can also get involved in our live streams that are more like tutorial live streams. So if you're thinking about making your own Let's Play, or you want to learn some things about console commands or video production or podcasting or audio, sound design, things like that, we a couple times a month we'll do kind of tutorial sessions on stuff like that. In the end, basically what it amounts to is, if you want access to all of that live stream content, and by the way, it's all recorded and made available to you after the fact as well, so if you miss a live stream, you can always get the content. It's always available. You can do that for as little as $5 a month, and in exchange what you're getting is somewhere in the neighborhood of 18 to 20, possibly even more hours of additional content per month for the cost of a latte. That is my pitch. All right? So if you're interested in learning more about that, you can go to patreon.charactercrusade.com. That will get you to the Patreon campaign, and you can kind of see how it's structured there. But I definitely appreciate all the support I get from you guys, and I am looking to broaden the reach. I want to do more. But the climate, the way that it is on YouTube right now, my YouTube royalties are plummeting, and there's really nothing I can do about it. So I would much rather produce great content for you guys, the patrons, that will benefit you directly and that you have input on. So that is my ultimate goal. So feel free to go and check that out if you're interested. And again, it is possible also that you can get access to that content without being a Patreon supporter. If you're interested in supporting the channel in other ways, you can certainly get out on the Discord server and let me know about that. There are several people that I have given sort of honorary Patreon level access to. And I do that directly through Discord, so you can get to that community by going to discord.charactercrusade.com. All right, now that farmer came after us. We may be in trouble here. We're going to have to see. Oh, yeah. This could get messy. We need to get to Broken Ore Grotto, and we don't have time to go around the long way. All right. The river, that must be the line of demarcation, I guess. So we get across the river and we're okay on this side, but we're not okay on the other side. Now, the other thing that's interesting to consider here is some of the difficulties that we're encountering now may also actually be associated with Stack's criminal background with regard to the alternate start mod. I use alternate start for all of my characters, and typically I will start them just camping in the woods. If you do camping in the woods as your starting point, there's really no fuss or anything like that. You can just start off from there, and it's not a big deal. With Stacks, I did it a little bit differently. I started him as an outlaw in an outlaw camp. So when I came in, he was part of the outlaw group at Robbers Gorge. And it may be his association with that group at Robbers Gorge that's causing us trouble in that part of Skyrim. I think that could definitely be a problem, for sure. But I know we've gotten ourselves into some trouble here in Solitude as well. All right, let's have a look here. Find out where the bandits took the loot. Okay, does that mean we already know? Or find out where Jerry Ra's bandits took the loot. Okay, that makes me think that we may need to go. See, I'm not seeing a map marker here. Well, we know Broken Ore Grotto is the place. He spelled it out in his letter. And my guess is he's going to make a run there, too, to rendezvous with the three guys that went there with all the loot. So when we got out from the inside of that ship, remember we counted everybody on the way in. And when we got out of that ship, there should have been 4 guys outside, and there was only 1. That means 3 loaded up to the rest of that loot and took off with it. They went in a rowboat. And my guess is that, given he's a Skyrim native, Stacks would know the terrain well enough to have at least a general idea of where Broken Ore Grotto is. Plus, we can also put the pieces together in other ways as well. So if we've got a general idea where Broken Ore Grotto is, but we also know that they must have taken off in the equivalent of a little dinghy. It means they could not have gone too far. And so I think those things combined would probably serve to make it much easier for Stacks to kind of take an educated guess at roughly where